Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Today's class will be given by Purna Nandini Mataji. So, I think Mataji is joined, right?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, I was waiting for your divine darshan.
No, you must wait for divine darshan of the Lordships, not souls like
Vaishnavas are more merciful than the Lord also. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
That is Vaishnavas in the process.
Mataji, your humility shows, Mataji, that you are the Vaishnava.
I wish, anyway, it's coming from a Vaishnavi, so I wish it comes true. Okay, so let's start, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, because it's Purushottam month and then Jai Radha Madhav I will sing because it is recommended to sing in the Purushottam. Just a second, please.
Mataji, Haribo.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yeshodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hare Gauranga Nityananda Gauranga Nityananda Gauranga Nityananda Gauranga Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Nittai Gaura Hari Bol Harinam Sankirtan ki jai Harinam Sankirtan Mahayagna ki jai Nittai Gaur Sitanath Paramanande Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Welcoming all of you devotees for this Brahma Samhita class where we are in the Purushottam month, in a very auspicious month, and we are trying to discuss a bit about Brahma Samhita. So just start with the prayers, then we can start. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Yeah, before we start, maybe one or two devotees can share what they have kind of learnt or heard, what they can remember. We have done 1 week now, 6 days rather, 5 days last week, and yesterday was the 6th day. Today is the 7th day. Who wants to share, please? Maybe a minute or two about what we have seen in the Brahma Samhita.
The first verse talks about the Supreme Personality, how Govinda is the cause of all causes, Mataji, and from whom everything has emanated, and from whom so he is the supreme cause, prime cause. And next few verses we saw about the Goloka chart, where Krishna was in the center, Krishna Radha Krishna were in the center and surrounded with Ashtasakis and Manjaris, and how from there the four expansions, and furthermore how Mahavishnu, and from Mahavishnu how many universes emerge, and within the universe how the entire 18 lokas are
14,
there.
14, you added 4 more.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. 14 lokas were there. So next was talking about the hexagonal figure of the realm, and how it is surrounded by the credence, and
okay,
that is what I could remember.
Very nice, Mataji. Very nice to hear that our Shravanam is so nice. Yeah, so anybody else wants to share? Pramila, Mataji is unmuted. Is it that you want to share something? Or anybody for that matter?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
The
Krishna.
Lord and Radharani, they stay in the lotus flower in the center, and this Goloka, it is called Goloka. It is surrounded by a square-shaped Shweta Dvipa, and that is surrounded by Mathura and Dwaraka, and the 4 expansions, they stay in each of these 4 directions, and it is further protected by Trishula and the mantras, Mataji. The entire thing is protected by the mantras. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Just one quick thing. Before the Chaturvyuha expansion, Krishna first expands himself to Balram, and then from Balram we get all the other expansions, right? So just keep a note of that. And it is the dham is lotus. It is in the shape of a lotus flower, right? And yes, center of it is Radha Krishna. Very nice. Yes, there's always a learning. First time we read, we understand something, and then we go on with it. We keep on understanding more and more. Yeah, so very nice. I will share the screen now. Yeah, the 6th shloka, we'll just read the translation before we go to the 7th shloka. Yes, Divya Mataji, can you please read the 6th shloka translation?
Sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Evam Jyotirmayo Devaha.
Oh, just the translation. Hare
Only
Krishna.
translation.
Because we are doing shloka 7, just for a continuity, I thought we'll just read the translation.
Okay, Mataji. Translation by His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord of Gokula is the transcendental supreme Godhead, the own self of eternal ecstasies. He is the superior of all superiors and is busily engaged in the enjoyments of the transcendental realm and has no association with his mundane potency. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So this was covered and explained yesterday how he's Asama Urdhava, that is the superior of all, most superior. But even then, he takes the position of inferior when among his pure devotees like Yashoda or Nanda Maharaj, or when he wants to relish those relationships. And then he has absolutely no association with mundane potency, which is what we saw yesterday. So we'll go to the actual shloka of today. Prashanti Mataji can read the shloka, and word to word translation can be read by Anita Mataji. Yes. Yeah. Prashanti Mataji, please read the shloka.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Maya ya Rama manasya na viyogasya taya saha atmana Ramaya rime yakta kalam sikshaya. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Anita Mataji, do you want to read the word to word translation? Okay. Shobha Mataji, Hare Krishna, do you want to read the word to word translation?
Shall I, Mataji?
Mataji, you just read? I'm just trying to see. You will keep.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
okay.
Yeah, Anita Mataji came on by. Yes, go ahead, Anita Mataji.
Synonyms. Yeah, synonyms. Maya, with the illusory energy. Arama manasya, of him who never consorts. Na, not. Vyogaha, complete separation. Taya, her. Saha, from. Atmana, with his own. Ramaya, spiritual potency Rama. Reme, consorts. Tekta kalam, by casting his glance in the shape of sending his time energy. Sisrikshaya, with the desire to create. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Translation also.
No, we if nobody is there, we'll come back to, right? Yeah, Sudha Mataji, you want to read the translation, please?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Krishna never consorts with his illusory energy. Still, her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. When he intends to create the material world, he an amorous pastime in which he engages by consorting with his own spiritual chit potency, Rama, by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy, is an auxiliary activity. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shobha Mataji, do you want to read the purport? Will you be able to read the purport? Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
But the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The illusionary energy has no direct contact with Krishna, but has got indirect contact. Vishnu, the supreme cause, lying in the causal ocean.
Causal, it is not causal ocean.
Causal ocean, the plenary portion of Mahasankarshana, who has his seat in Mahavaikuntha, the sphere of Krishna's own external transcendental pastimes, casts high glance towards the diluting energy. Even in casting his glance, he has no contact with the diluting energy, because the spiritual chit potency Rama then carries the function of his glance as his unpolluted, ever submissive potency. The diluting energy as the maidservant of the spiritual chit potency Rama serves the manifested plenary portion of Godhead, consorted with Brahma, the time energy representing the force of activity and instrument, instrumentality of Brahma. Hence, there is found the process of masculinity of the creative force. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna. Thank you, devotees. So Krishna never consorts with his illusionary energy. Still, her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. When he intends to create the material world, the amorous pastime in which he engages by consorting with his own spiritual chit potency, Brahma, by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy, is an auxiliary activity. So, yeah, let's try to understand what exactly. See, first of all, we have seen, further shlokas, how any of the organs of Krishna can do any work. For instance, he can walk with his hands, if I have to say. So, just by glance of Krishna is glancing the material energy, and the material energy comes to life, right? But then here the main point is, he is not affected by the material energy, but at the same time he is not cut off from the entirely cut off from the absolute truth. Still her connection is not entirely cut off from the absolute truth. So, I'm trying to share a few of my thoughts on this, because it is really very high and very esoteric, and I really feel very insignificant to share my thoughts, but just as a service to the parampara, I'm trying to do it. Now, material energy is like everything else under Krishna. We saw in the first shloka, Parama Krishna Satya, Anadirane Govinda, Sarva Karana Karana. So even the material energy is from Krishna. But what is it that we have to try to understand here is, even though he creates the material energy, he is never bound to it, or he is never affected by it. Now, why does this keep coming again and again, especially if you see Srila Prabhupada's purport? Srila Prabhupada time and again brings this more and more often, because the Mayavadi philosophy, like there was a period when the Mayavadi philosophy was so strong, and until Vaishnavism took over, that they said Krishna, when he descends onto this earth, then like any ordinary being, he is also affected by the Maya potency. And they give examples. Look how Rama cried when Sita was kidnapped, or Krishna is trying to use other means to win win the war, and things like that, right? So in that aspect, more so, because being influenced by that thought process, the scriptures elaborately saying that there is no way that Krishna can be affected by the Maya energy. But then Maya energy works under his under his purview, of course. In fact, it said she does a very thankless job. Why it is a thankless job? Because she tests. See, there is nothing to test the non-devotees. She is happy because they are dancing to her tunes. So it is with the devotees, and then she feels that pain. Actually, she feels the pain. Acharyas say, scriptures say, she feels the pain of trying to test the devotees, by putting them more in Maya or giving them more tests and other things, right? But so she calls it as a thankless job, because Krishna was put her in that position to do this job of trying to test the devotees. Are they really wanting to hankering after Krishna? Are they really wanting to get out of this material world and then go to Goloka? So the first part of the aspect is that she works under his, she's not cut off from the absolute truth. But then Krishna is never affected. Say, we can see so many examples, live examples of this. Like, how many of you have heard of Jagannath Puri? All of us have heard of Jagannath Puri. After the prasadam, after the bhoga is offered to Jagannath, whom is it offered to? Anybody wants
Mother
to?
Parvati.
And what is she called there? Do you know what she? Bimala Devi, exactly, right? She is Bimala Devi, and that pastime of, you know, how Narad Muni begs from Mahalakshmi that please give me remnants of the Vishnu, and then Vishnu would have just previous day or some time back would have recently told her, for no reason you should give my remnants to anybody. And then Lakshmi, being very pleased with Narad Muni, says, what do you want? He says, I want some remnants of Vishnu. She says, you ask anything else, I will give you other than that. And then he says, no, I want only that. Then she goes and she begs with Narayana, and then Narayana says, okay, you give it to him when I'm not looking. So she gives, you know, mercifully, she gives it to Narad Muni, and Narad Muni happily eats it. And the moment he eats it, like he's dancing, you know, so much ecstasy. Imagine prasadam direct, Narayana's prasadam directly dancing. Then Shiva sees it. She says, what happened? What are you dancing so much for? Just see, I got prasadam from. Oh, really? I'm your brother. We both come from Brahma. Where is it for me? And Narad Muni says, no, I finished it all. And Shiva says, no, there must be something. Then he says, okay, see, in his name, you know, there's one grain of rice. So he takes it and gives it to Shiva, and Lord Shiva takes it, and then Lord Shiva with that one grain starts dancing. Then it looks as though it's like Pralaya. Then Parvati comes running, and then she says, what is happening? It is not time for Pralaya now. You know, why are you dancing like this? Then he says, see, I got Mahaprasadam from Narayana. That is why. She says, oh, really? I am your Ardhangi. Where is my portion? So she says, no, he is stunned. He said, no, I got only one grain. She said, nothing doing, not just one grain or 10 grains. I am your better half, so you have to give. Then he says, no, I don't have it. I ate it off. And then she gets very upset and very depressed and very this thing. And then, you know, she goes to Narayana, and then she says, what is this? How can I not have your prasadam? Right? And then Narayana says, you don't worry. When I come as Daru Brahma, when I come as Jagannath, these pastime, the first person after the bhoga is offered to me, it will come, prasad will come to you, and then as Mahaprasad it is distributed to everybody. So you see, and then, no, actually, you know, what is, we all think Maya, you know, Maya, of course, is Parvati, you know, that she's always very troubling us. In fact, it is Mata Parvati because she is the mother of the material world, you know. She says, see, it is, I am not happy if you only give me prasadam. I want this prasadam to be given to all the conditions, all the living entities in the world, right? And that is how, you know, the prasadam of Jagannath Puri, I mean, like his prasadam is given to Bimala Devi, and Bimala Devi, after Bimala Devi, then it is distributed. So you see how she is always connected, not entirely cut off from. I mean, this past time came to me when I read that she's not cut off completely from absolute truth, because she knows, and she not just knows, she's super compassionate. So yes, it is her thankless job of trying to test the devotees of you know, because she has to get us through this world of Maya, and then so she gives all these various obstacles, so-called obstacles or tests and other things. So that is how she is always connected with Krishna, because she is serving Krishna, right? And the other part, the second part of it, which says, he engages by consorting with his own spiritual chit potency, Rama, by casting his glance at the deluding energy in the shape of sending his time energy, is an auxiliary activity, right? And in the purport, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj says, the deluding energy as the maid servant of spiritual chit potency Rama serves the manifested plenary portion of Godhead consorted with Rama, the time energy, representing the force of activity and instrumentality of Rama. Hence, there is found the process of masculinity or the creative force. Right? So, glancing, by just glancing how the chit potency carries the function of his glance as his unpolluted, ever submissive potency. So, like we have heard how, I think in one of the Bhagavatam classes, I mentioned about 16 different types of energies of Krishna, and how these energies, various energies work, do the different functionalities of the material world. So here, how is his chit potency carried? By his unpolluted, ever submissive potency by Rama. Rama, it says, the chit potency Rama. That is his internal potency. As Rama or Radharani, all these potencies.
I left the door open actually.
These energies which work on behalf of Krishna. Submissive potency, it says. Obviously, all energies are submissive to Krishna because everything is emanating from him. And then this last line, there is found the process of masculinity or the creative force. Because, see, now, why this, what is the import of this particular line? Because we know when creation has to happen, in the normal sense of this thing, there has to be male and female, and then their union, the creation happens, is what we understand. So how it is actually on the transcendental aspect, when just by the glance of Krishna, of Mahavishnu, the process of creation happens, is being trying to explain here. So no contact, and then how he is not being deluded by this Maya energy. Now, why should he be deluded by Maya energy? First of all, he is creating it. One aspect is he is creating it, right? And then, so if he has created, like he is like the boss. So the boss not necessarily has to be influenced by what he's created. Like if the king goes to the prison to see what is happening in the prison, it's not necessary. It is not that he is going to the prison because he's done something wrong, so he's going to the prison. So in the same way, and then he will not be Krishna. If he is being influenced by Maya, then he will not be God. He'll be like any of us, right? So that aspect doesn't arise at all, that he is being influenced by Maya potency, which is what the Mayavadis, that is what they think, that he comes in he has a form like us, and then when he leaves, that form also gets dissolved, whatever, so which is definitely not the correct aspect of understanding Krishna's spiritual body or his spiritual potencies. Okay, so these were some of the thoughts that came to me when I read this, and then I've shared. So with this, I'm kind of concluding this aspect that Maya Shakti is under working under Krishna, and then she is definitely not cut off from the absolute truth, and Krishna is above these modes, or the Maya energy, That is why he's called Nirguna. He's above the gunas. And then his chit potency, by glancing, the whole of material creation comes into activity. Or his time energy, the shape of sending his time energy is an auxiliary activity. Why is it an auxiliary activity? Because as such, time, a concept of time, when does the concept of time arise? When there is creation and destruction. I mean, when you have what to say, we are in between two things, then you have a start and end point. But then when there is no start and no end, when there is eternality of whole thing, then this aspect of time will not arise, right? So that is why, they're saying it is an auxiliary activity. So if any of you want to share or add anything, please go ahead, or else we can stop the class here.
Mataji, I have one doubt, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I hope I can answer. Yes.
In Bhagavatam, heard that the glance carried by Shambhu.
What, Mataji?
The glance of Vishnu is carried by Shambhu. So that's how creation was. But here it said Rama carries
this thing, right? Now, see, if you see this world, it's called, it is also called as Durga. You see the worship of Ma Durga is very high. I mean, people who worship Durga, then it is difficult for them to accept this aspect of Vaishnavism or worshipping Krishna, who is the superpower, right? Right? Huh?
Yes, Mataji.
If you kind of, let's try to relate in the house. In the house, yes, the head is the father, no doubt about that. Yes. But then actual working in the house is done by who?
Mother, Mataji.
It's the mother, no? So, yes. So we can kind of interpolate this with, though Shiva is the father, but it is Ma Durga. That is what you see. If you hear Maya Shakti, is all about Shakti that is being influenced on us, right? So that power is more. We don't hear Shiva as Maya trying to force his Maya things on us. It is always Maya Shakti, Durga Devi is what, right? So for the material world, she is the supreme.
Yes, Mataji.
And of course, she is under Lord Shiva.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so we can understand it in that aspect.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. So we can understand both of them carry the function of the material world. Thank you so much, Mataji.
So since we are done, anybody else has anything to add or say? Yes, Mataji.
We discussed about the pastime of Narada asking for the remnants from Lakshmi Devi. Is there any connection, like why Lord Narayan told Lakshmi Devi to not to give this remnants to anyone?
Why not to give? Why not to give? See, every time I have heard this pastime, nobody asked this question. So probably next time I can ask this question from some Rajas. Why he said no?
Okay. Okay.
So since we are done with so-called trying to understand the shloka in whatever limited way I could explain, since we have time, so shall we chant a few rounds because we are supposed to be here till 12:30. So I think we can chant 2 rounds. Either we can unmute or be muted, but chant 2 rounds. Is that okay with all devotees?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Ram Ram
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Ram
Hare Ram, Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram.
Hare Hare Ram
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram
Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram
Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram
Ram
Ram
Ram Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Ram Hare
Ram
Ram Ram
Ram
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Please
Krishna
want to continue or shall I close the class?
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram.
You can close the class, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you,
Mataji. Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Dandavat
Dandavat
pranam.
pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ब्रह्म संहिता की जय।
Jai.
नंदिनी माता जी की जय।
Jai.
अनंत कोटि
Jai.
की जय।
Jai.
गौरंगा
Hari
नित्यानंद
Hari.
Nityananda.
की जय।
Bye.
थैंक यू माता जी। दंडवत प्रणाम।
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Dandavat
Mataji.
Pranam.